Hey guys, welcome back to our silent journey. Today's episode is a little different. For 8 episodes, you've heard me tell our story. You've heard about the infertility, the surgeries, the medications, the heartbreak, the pregnancy, the birth, and all the moments in between. But the truth is, this was never just my story. It was ours. And while I was sharing my experience of everything we went through, there was someone else walking through it with me. Someone sitting beside me in waiting rooms. Someone holding my hand after difficult appointments. Someone celebrating every small victory and carrying every disappointment right alongside me. Today, for the first time ever, my husband is going to be joining me on the podcast. And honestly, there may be things I hear today for the first time too. So, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, listeners, family, and friends. My name is Tai So. Friends, family call me Tai. I am husband to Felicia and proud father of Kaylan.
I think the best place to start is before all of this. Before the appointments, before the treatments, before infertility became part of our story. Did you always know you wanted kids?
I didn't. Growing up, I didn't believe I wanted kids.
What did you picture our future looking like when we first got married?
First got married, we already had the plan of having kids, and we just had a big stepping stone as marriage. So I've always seen us being successful in having our daughter or son, whichever came.
At what point did it finally hit you that we weren't just having bad luck, that we might actually be struggling?
It started when it wasn't weeks, it wasn't days, it was years. That's when you started to question yourself and started to question what's going on.
Was there ever a moment when you were alone and it really hit you how much we were struggling? Like maybe a specific day, memory, or moment that stands out?
No, I mean, with what we were going through, it was such a timeline thing. So it wasn't really anything you can contemplate on. It was more of looking for what's the next thing to do, what's the next appointment, and it honestly kept us on track. So being in the situation we were, I really couldn't sit there and wander or even think about it.
What did infertility take away from you?
Privacy, that's the main thing. Going into this, you don't really know. I mean, there's not really a booklet and anything that tells you, hey, this is going to happen. Your life becomes an open book. You are basically no privacy in your life in the situation you're trying to have a child. So anything that you think is private or anything that you might be trying to keep private, it has to be set out so that way it gives you the best chances to get pregnant. So yeah, privacy is a big one.
Yeah. Was there anything you were protecting me from that I didn't know about? Any fears, worries, or emotions you kept to yourself because you didn't want to make things harder for me?
No, I've battled with other things growing up, and it helped me keep a straight line. It kept me focused on what was at hand and what our goal was. I think more of seeing you go through something like this for the first time was what rattled me maybe a little bit, because growing up with each other for 10 years, I've never really seen you in this headspace or seen you in a situation where you doubted as much as you did over the years. And then it became more than just a couple years. And so that was the main thing for me, at least.
What was harder, the negative tests and failed cycles, or watching what infertility was doing to me?
I think that question goes hand in hand with each other. So I would say the negative tests, because one positive test could have ended it all. It could have ended the feelings you were having or the struggles you were going with. So I was more of reaching for that positive test. Each phone call, each result, I was hoping to hear the words positive. I was hoping to hear the words congratulations, because in those simple words, it could have ended a lot of pain or frustration.
Were you ever angry? And if you were, what were you angry at?
The world. I was. I'm growing up again, just going back, and just very short-tempered. Had a lot of anger issues, and so I've learned to deal with things in certain matters, and this was just so out of my hands, and it felt like we kept everything towards luck, towards numbers, towards percentage, and nothing was in our hands. It wasn't like if we were to try to do something here or there. Yes, there were some things, but it was only to up our percentage of getting pregnant. There was nothing for sure about it, and I think that was the most frustrating thing, because, again, no control over it. So that would bring upon anger and doubt.
Was there ever a moment where you felt like you had to be strong even though you didn't want to be?
I wouldn't put it to where I didn't want to be, but I did have to be strong because, again, me and you are partners in life, and this was definitely one of the hardest things we battled together at that point was our 10 years. So when I say I had to be strong, it was more of just being strong for us, because the road was long and it was tough.
Yeah. Well, what do you think infertility taught you about us and about a relationship?
How strong we really are. It goes to show that we weren't perfect. Growing in our relationship, we rarely fought, we rarely disputed over things, and if it was very little bickering here and there. It just wasn't anything to shake our relationship, and this was definitely one of those things that it challenged us both, and emotionally, mentally, physically, and it wasn't just for a period of time. It was over years and years. So for us to go through it, it just was hard, and then it just made us stronger, or fall in love even more, in simple terms, because after we fought, it only made us feel more connected, because it showed us how much we wanted it, how much it really did mean to us.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, I didn't want kids, so showing how much it grew on me, or how much your life grew on me to make me want to change my perspective on things, or my admirations about what I wanted, just completely changed it, flipped it on its head.
Was there a moment during our infertility journey where you fell in love with me all over again?
Yeah, I mean, you see someone in a light, you see your partner in a light that you fell in love with, right? When you see them take on another challenge, it's always something different. You can see that person change. No one really stays the same, in my opinion. So seeing you battle something so with so much passion and determination, it really did show me another side of you that I haven't seen before. But like I said, it also broke us, and it just made us closer and our bond closer. And so, yeah.
What is something you wish I knew about your experience?
It was just, I'm a very closed off person. My personal life, I really don't put out there. So this was so out of my comfort zone. I'm a shy person. I know people don't believe that I am, but very shy. Again, closed off with like my personal life. I like to keep everything between us or people I'm close with. And so being open book with strangers threw me off.
Yeah. When we started treatments and surgeries, what was going through your mind?
Another stepping stone. This is another thing we have to get past if we want to see the end goal.
Yeah.
However long it may be, it's another stepping stone. And that's how I saw a lot of it. There's a lot of bumps and things thrown at us, but if I had to say anything, it would be everything that's thrown at us through it, we just had to step over it. We had to get through it. So, yeah.
Did you ever have moments where you thought we might never become parents?
Going back to one of your previous episodes, you stated that you got so disoriented with the process that we had to take a break.
Yeah.
So when we took a break, that was when it really hit us, because it wasn't every week we had to go do something. It wasn't a straight path or a plan every single week that we had to do something. So being human, your mind wanders. And it's the first time you really got a break from it. So in my head, I just started to think, what if it never happens? And so that break was what we needed, but it also started to give doubt.
Yeah. What was the hardest appointment or moment of treatment for you?
Going into that little room. And for the people who've been through it, they know what I'm talking about. But like I said, I'm a very closed off person. So everyone knows what you're going to do in that room, and it's just very odd and uncomfortable. I mean, the women have to go through those type of procedures and shots and stuff like that, but for the opposite, I think that would be like the one thing, because it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah. I offered to go in with you once. When we finally got that positive test, what do you remember most?
Fear. The way you woke me up. It was a very long day. I think it was during one of my quarterly inventories. So I got home very late, went in very early. And so when I got home, I ate something real quick, showered, went to bed right away. Super tired, and didn't even remember that we had a call that day. And so being woken up to you with the expression of crying and shaking, all that jitterness, and I was just thinking to myself, what is going on?
Yeah.
And I couldn't see anything besides the fact that I thought you were scared or something had happened. So, but as soon as you were giving me the sign language, pointing at your belly and thumbs up, I got chills. Like, my body got cold. It was just such a weight lifted off our shoulders, but it was just, I didn't expect to feel the chills that I did.
Yeah. After everything we'd been through, were you excited or were you afraid to get your hopes up?
Oh, that was, with the positive test, there's always that one thing. And so when we had gotten that positive test, them stating that now you got to understand you're high risk, it's okay, now can I be excited or don't get my hopes up because what if this isn't one of those failures that we had before? I want to say failures, but disappointments that we had before.
When did you finally stop being afraid and start believing we were actually bringing a baby home?
Hearing her heartbeat for the first time. In the room, it's just you, your partner, and the doctor or nurse, and the room is silent. You're just waiting, anticipating the sound, thinking, oh, I know what a heartbeat sounds like, but then you realize that a heartbeat is something you're bringing into this world. Mm-hmm. And that's definitely the moment where it just hits you that we're proceeding with everything. Everything's starting to fly by, and we hear a heartbeat.
Was there a moment during my pregnancy when you let yourself dream about being a dad?
I never really dreamt about being a dad. I more of prepared myself because it's just the type of person I am. I like to go into things knowing. Emotionally, I wanted to know what I was getting myself invested in, and so dreaming about something and being prepared are two different things, and I just never really allowed myself to dream because that could be taken away from you so quick. And it's for when you prepare, you can understand what you're doing. If something were to happen, you can react quickly, or if something were to happen, you know what to do because you were prepared.
What is the first thing you imagined teaching her?
Confidence. Confidence is such a big thing. In this day and age, too, it's just something that's, in my eyes, important because you have to believe in yourself. And I won't go too deep into it, but just having confidence to take anything on in this world, having the confidence that we're there the whole time. It just goes into so many different things, but the one word is confidence.
Let's talk about the day she was born. What do you remember most about that day?
There's just so much. It was basically a day and a half based off of like the timeline, but there's just so much that went into that day. Waking up with you or us having a puddle in our bed with your water being broken and me going through the checklist, like I said, like to be prepared. I know what needs to be in that car, so I'm rushing, throwing everything in that car because I'm telling myself we're not coming back. We won't need anything because I remembered everything. And really, what I remember though is the time, how long it really did take, because it felt so slow in that room, waiting and waiting, just because we were waiting for certain things to just progress, just to happen.
When you first saw me holding Kehlani, what was going through your mind?
This is my family. That's just what the main thing was. And I wanted to make sure that you were the first one to hold her. But growing up, my dad taught me that to be a protector, so that's definitely what popped in my head was this is my family and there's nothing that's going to take this away from me.
What is a moment from her birth that you think about more than I realize?
Can you repeat it?
What was a moment from her birth that you think about more than I realize?
I don't know.
Her cry. Her pooping on me.
It's just, when she was born, it was a blur.
Yeah.
We went from waiting so long for her being so stubborn, she didn't want to come out, to once we were in that phase, it was like a snap of the finger. I think that's what I'll say. Because it went from, all right, let's prepare, to she's already pushing. We already see her head, and they're trying to stop you. But she was already coming. So from waiting to the snap of the fingers and her being here, I'll say that.
And what has surprised you most about your love for her?
When I stated that I didn't want kids when I was younger, it's just because what I grew up with, what I saw, and maybe I didn't believe in it, or I just didn't want to be a dad because this world can be so cruel, or this world can be unforgiving. Mm-hmm. And I lost the question.
What surprised you most about your love for her?
Oh yeah, and unforgiving. So hearing people state, like, as soon as their loved one was born, that you just fell in love with this one, or it's a different type of love. And with me being the one person, or when I was younger, saying I didn't want any kids, I didn't believe it. I didn't really think that was true. Mm-hmm. And everything's opinion based, of course. So, but as soon as you're in the shoes of that situation, it's like, wow, I understand the feeling, or wow, it's true.
What is something about being a father that nobody prepared you for?
Can anything really prepare you 100% to be somebody?
Parent?
Be a parent?
I don't think so.
You grow up around so many different people. You grow up around so many different families, and you take stuff from people. Oh, I want to be like this. Oh, I want to be like that. Or just examples of things that you want to teach or put in her upbringing. So taking all of that and creating your own version is something like where you want it.
Yeah. When do you feel most like her dad?
Coming home and her just with the biggest smile, and she knows dad, but it's pop right now. She knows. I know that she's what she means. Obviously, with her joy seeing me, that's definitely not something I anticipated. I just didn't think, oh, I can't wait to go home, and her excitement or that energy you feel from that. I never really thought or expected it, and I think that's the best thing. That's the unexpected.
What's your favorite thing about her right now?
Definitely her personality.
Yeah.
Her being the way she's just growing into her own personality.
Mm-hmm.
You think, oh, this is our daughter. She might have your personality or mine, or she might grow up like you or me. Is far from it. It could be her own thing, and she's definitely this bubbly little thing, and seeing her grow into that is just definitely.
Yeah. If Kaylani were to listen to this episode when she's around 20 years old, what would you want her to know?
Hearing my words saying that I never wanted a kid doesn't mean that I never wanted her.
Yeah.
This, like I said before, this world is just very different. And seeing what I saw growing up the way I grew up, I just didn't want to bring a life into this world and not know that I could protect her from it or raise her the right way. And it's just a responsibility. And I didn't know if I could live up to that responsibility or that expectation of bringing her into this world. But with her being here, I just know that I won't give up until I'm successful in that aspect. It's something that, in my eyes, I won't fail in because I won't allow it. I won't become that version I saw that I didn't want. I just won't let myself steep to down there.
And after everything we went through to have her, what does she mean to you?
Lack of better words, the world. Everyone says that, but in my eyes, she's just the word love, the meaning behind love. She's the definition of a lot of things, beauty, and it's just thinking about that. I think that's what the main thing.
Okay. Before we end today's episode, I wanted to give you a chance to say anything you'd like. Anything to me, anything to Kaylani, anything to someone listening who might still be struggling through infertility.
I know I'm shy. I know I don't really talk as much. My family friends know, but I just want to say how proud I am of you for doing this. You put it into the world and you said that you wanted to do it. And usually you'll have to have me push you to do things or say, hey, should I do it? But you took it yourself and you went off with it. And so I love seeing you do this every week, how much passion you have for it. And I think that is such a beautiful thing. And I want to thank everyone who is in every week and those new listeners that are gotten to this point, and thank them for allowing you to share what you are passionate about. And thank you, just thank everybody, and hope that everybody sees a different light in this, in our version. But everyone's journeys is different. Everyone can go through things different. Everyone's human. So if you're listening to this and you hear your version of it or Felicia's version of it, and it's different, don't think you're alone, because there's so much in this field that isn't really said, or this journey that really isn't said, that maybe somebody else has went through the same thing as you, and it's just not said out loud. So don't give up, because one positive test changes everything. You'll reach the end. So don't give up.
Thank you for sharing your side of our story, and thank you for being willing and vulnerable today. For everyone listening, I hope today's episode reminded you that infertility affects more than one person. There are often silent battles happening on both sides, and sometimes when people carrying those battles don't always know how to talk about them. Thank you for spending this time with us, and thank you for being a part of our silent journey. And we'll talk to you guys next week.